The city that learned to watch. The city didn't change overnight. This is the first lie people tell when power tightens its grips. In Naypyidaw, the streets still looked wide and clean. The ministries stood still like white monuments to order. Vendors sold tea at dawn. People still went to work, still argued about prices, still laughed quietly when they thought no one important was listening. But something had shifted, not visibly, not violently. The city had learned how to remember. The cameras that didn't blink. At first, the cameras were described as infrastructure, crime prevention, modernization, safety. New black domes appeared on traffic lights, poles, the corners of buildings. They didn't point aggressively, they didn't threaten, they simply watched, unblinking, patient, tireless. Ko Min noticed them on his way to the market one morning. He counted three on a single street. He joked about it with the tea seller. Soon they'll know what we dream about. The man laughed. They both smiled. That was still allowed. What Komi didn't know was that the camera didn't need to understand him. They only needed to recognize him. A face, after all, is just a pattern, and patterns are easy to store. Every time he passed beneath one, his presence was added to something vast and invisible, a map not only of streets but of movement, protest without noise. The first demonstration after the coup had been loud, angry, brave. People filled the streets with signs and chants, believing visibility was strength. The second one was quieter. By the third one, there were barely any crowds at all. This wasn't fear that stopped people, it was arithmetic. Someone would join a protest, disappear back into the crowd, go home, sleep, wake up, and feel safe. Then, days later, a knock. Not a violent raid, no dramatic arrest, just questions, recording, warnings, a job termination, a revoked license, a relative questioned. Delayed consequences, precisely targeted. The cameras followed faces through crowds, the way hunters followed footprints through mud. There was no need to arrest anyone, just enough. Soon people learned the new rule. You could protest once, maybe twice, but the system never forget. Part 3. The language that betrayed you. Online, the resistance adapted. Words became metaphors. Jokes carried meanings. Messages were written sideways, coded and ironic. For a moment, it worked. Then the messages started failing, not because they were blocked, but because they were understood. Machines didn't look for forbidden words anymore. They looked for tone, emotion, intent, suspicion. Sarita learned this the hard way. She never wrote revolution, she never wrote protest. She wrote poems instead about storms, about cages, about birds that forgot how to fly. The system flagged her anyway. It didn't accuse her of treason, it simply noticed her. Her phone calls began to drop. Her internet slowed. Invitation stopped arriving. People she had never met knew her name. The algorithm didn't silence her voice. They isolated it. The regime that no longer needed fear. The generals once relied on soldiers and guns that were expensive, messy, unpredictable. Now they relied on certainty. They didn't need to beat people in public. They didn't need mass arrest. They did not need to explain themselves. The system handled the work. It mapped relationships, identified organizers, ranked influence, calculated risks. Remove one person, pressure another there, let the rest watch. This was not terror. Terror created myths. This was administration, and administration is quieter. A city that learned to obey without being told. Months passed. Elections came and went. The outcome surprised no one. The streets were calm, not peaceful, calm. People still disagreed with the regime. They still resented it, but resentment, unorganized, is harmless. Everyone understood the new reality, though no one said it out loud. The city was no longer governed by laws alone, it was governed by memories. Every action left a trace, every trace could be recalled, every trace could be used later. So people adjusted. They walked a little faster past the cameras, they avoided old friends, they chose safer words. They learned silence without being ordered to be silent. The lesson the world pretends not to see. Foreign observers wrote reports. They spoke of misuse, abuse, ethical concerns. They debated regulations, guidelines, safeguards. But the truth was simpler, far more dangerous. Nothing had gone wrong. Artificial intelligence had not corrupted the state, it had completed it. Myanmar had shown what happens when a city no longer needs loyalty, belief, or even fear, only data. Other governments were watching, quietly, carefully, taking notes. They would not copy Myanmar's mistake, they would copy its efficiency. The final silence. Komi still walks to the market every morning. The tea seller is still there. They still smile. They no longer joke about the cameras. There is no need. The city watches now, and the city remembers. In a world where memory never fades, rebellion does not die. It simply never learns how to be born.